Names Not Numbers was a very educating and meaningful experience that I was fortunate to be a part of. We went to the Holocaust Museum and Center for Tolerance Education at RCC and learned a lot about moral courage. Also at RCC, we listened to an audio recording about a family that was in hiding during the war. The video made me and I think other classmates feel the horrifying times when the Germans came. When we finally met our survivor, Faye Scala, we already knew a lot about the Holocaust, but meeting her and interviewing her in person made the whole experience more real, and I would like to thank Ashar for this great opportunity.
One thing I enjoyed during Names Not Numbers was the filming. We were taught by professional photographer Michael Piero how to handle and operate the cameras. He taught us different techniques to film an interview, such as the rule of thirds, and I found that it was cool that we were able to use professional photography equipment that I'll probably never be able to use again. This made my senior year in Ashar a lot more meaningful.
One of the big events in Ashar is the 8th grade Names Not Numbers program. Names Not Numbers is a program where we interview Holocaust survivors and ask them about the story of the Holocaust. The part of Names Not Numbers that I was most looking forward to was working the audio and the camera. Before the interviews, we learned how to work the camera and how to adjust it and how to move it. As you can see, this was a big event in Ashar and we prepared a lot for it.
What I really enjoyed about Ashar 8th grade is Names Not Numbers. What I really enjoyed about Names Not Numbers that we actually got to talk to the survivors in person. What I also thought was really cool was the studio where we filmed the Names Not Numbers in. Names Not Numbers is something special that I remember for the rest of my life.
כל שנה ושנה שם מביאים ניצול שואה לספר את הסיפור שלו. זה היה הפעם הראשונה שראיתי ניצול שואה. מתי שהגברת סקאלה התחילה לדבר את הסיפור שלה, הרגשתי כל כך גרוע, ש6 מיליון יהודים נהרגו וכל האנשים שכן שרדו הפסידו ממש. תודה רבה לאש"ר שמלמדים איתנו על השואה.
One experience I had in Ashar that I always remember is interviewing Mr. Morris Engelson as part of Names Not Numbers. My group prepared 60 questions to ask him. We were excited to meet him, but also nervous about what he would say. We learned that he was taken to a ghetto for a while until he escaped, but his father decided to stay behind to see if the ghetto would be liquidated. Later, Mr. Engelson was taken to another ghetto, where a friend of his dad found them and took them back to his dad, where they hid until the end of the war. He told us to never forget about the Holocaust. I learned a lot of practical skills as well, such as interviewing techniques, how to use professional video cameras and audio equipment. All in all, Names Not Numbers was an amazing experience that I'll remember for the rest of my life.
One of my favorite memories in Ashar was the basketball season. We didn't do great, but it was a lot of fun just playing the game, and I'll never forget that time in Ashar.
I will always remember my time as a Ashar Sharks hockey player. In 7th grade, we did not have a team since we did not have enough players. We only had practices. But in 8th grade, we had a team. We did not do that well, but we still managed to go to playoffs. In playoffs, we played WDS, and the score was neck and neck. At first, it went 1-1, then 2-2, then 2-3. It should have gone 3-3, but the ref did not see my goal as a goal since the goalie grabbed it out of the goal. And if they would have called it, it would have been my second goal, and we would have went to overtime. We most likely would have won, and I'll always remember it as a fun time.
Something I will always remember from my years at Ashar is when I worked the scoreboard. When Flo asked me last year to operate the scoreboard, I was happy to do it. And over the time I got better at it, and whenever I messed up, I would always blame the controller even though it was fine. At least Ashar got extra time to score points. They really needed it. Working the scoreboard is something that I won't forget.
My favorite memory in Ashar was being a part of the basketball team. I was a part of it in 7th grade and 8th grade. Before our very first game ever, we thought we were going to go crazy, but we're very quickly humbled because we lost by over 50. One game in 7th grade, we played the best team in our division and probably in the league. The final score ended up to be 86-11 them. This year, we all got a lot better and thought we might actually win some games, but again, we were humbled. Our record was 1-9. This year, I had a very special role, warming the bench for all the players who actually played. But my favorite memory on the team was probably staying after school, eating pizza with friends, and fooling around with them.
A couple weeks before the first 8th grade basketball game, there were a bunch of kids talking about how to make the basketball team better and this year more memorable. So we decided to get a mascot and call him Little Sharky. Although we didn't win many games, it was fun to run around in a shark costume around the court and even see the other teams wishing they had a mascot to represent them.
I really enjoy playing Ashar basketball. Even though we haven't had the best season, I had a pretty fun time. This year we won our first game, and the score was 37-29. And it was so much fun, and I had an amazing time. Postseason, I decided to help out the 6th grade basketball team and become assistant coach. We did it better than 7th and 8th grade this year with a record of 2-6. After everyone, we celebrated by having a barbecue and going to Rita's. Overall, it was really fun hearing Snake, even at the game, hearing Snake cheer at the top of his lungs.
I still remember the first time that we stepped onto that court as the SR basketball team. We were all under 5'3", and the team that we were playing had kids that were between 5'5" and 6'2". We didn't know what hit us, and we lost by 56 points, but it was definitely fun. Unfortunately, though, that season we won 0 games and lost most of them horribly. The next season, we stepped onto that court, and we were bigger and a little better. That season, I didn't join the team because I had some PTSD from the previous year, but after the first game, I realized that the team definitely needed all the help they could get. So I joined and played the rest of the season. I helped to win our first game and had a season high of 21 points, my jersey number. All in all, the team was one of the exclamation points in my SR career.
I remember last year we were on the bus while the coach told everyone to settle down while he would announce the starting 5 for our first game of the season. I remember the coach didn't say my name in the starting lineup, and I was mad. We got off the bus thinking it wasn't going to be too bad, but we walked in and saw a 6'2" kid, and our center was as big as their point guard. We ended up losing by about 70 points, but I still scored the first points of our season. I'll always remember how wild the season it was while we went 0-10.
One of my favorite things that Shar has to offer is the Torah Bowl team. In Torah Bowl, we have to study a sefer of the Torah with all the Rashis. I'll never forget my 6th grade Torah Bowl season. That year, we were studying Sefer Bamidbar. All of the competitions that year took place on Zoom. We managed to beat the other teams in our division and advance to the playoff round. It was the best feeling I ever had while in a Shar, and I'll never forget that season.
There were many trips that I went on in Ashar since I came here in 5th grade. My favorite trip was the Philadelphia trip. Seeing many historic buildings and places were great, but my favorite part was being with my friends on the bus and having pillow fights with them. This trip was great, and I think that all the coming 7th graders will love it.
One of my greatest memories from Ashar was the Philadelphia trip. We visited the Eastern State Penitentiary. In the jail, we saw all the harsh conditions that the people there were living. We also saw a shul there. There was a small aron there and a small bima. This is one of my greatest memories from Ashar that I will remember throughout my life.
A really fun memory I have at Ashar is the Philadelphia trip, especially the bus ride there and back. It was a really fun experience with my friends, and I hope to experience something like that again. On the day of the trip, we had to wake up extra early, so I was pretty tired. We all knew it was going to be a long bus ride on the way to Philadelphia. I was trying to sleep on the bus, but my friend was making it pretty hard by singing 99 bottles of beer on the wall. And it was even harder to sleep when the whole back of the bus started joining in. On the way back from Philadelphia, we were all pretty stuffed from eating pizza and fries. Not much happened on the bus, but it was overall fun. We had rap battles and fun conversations, and we even saw someone wearing $2,000 Travis Scott Jordans. Lucky guy. Thank you, Ashar, for this great memory.
As 5th graders at the time, our introduction to middle school was quite unique. Because of Corona, Zoom became our way to have classes. Everyone would always have their own things that they would be doing on Zoom. To start, Rabbi Tversky would have his children popping in and out of the screen like it was a cartoon. Mr. Rabinowitz would always follow Common Core curriculum, and she would never give us tests, she would only give assessments. Rabbi Weiss's Wi-Fi was bad, so he would try going outside. We laughed when we saw him on his roof, and he even tried to go to Ashar to get better Wi-Fi. Mrs. Margaret and Mrs. Tanzik were usually in the same spot in their house, and even introduced us to some of their children. I can remember playing video games during our break and even pulling some pranks on our teachers. Overall, my class was silly at times, and our learning conditions were certainly compromised, but it was a fun experience for all.
One thing I will always remember about Ashar is the color war. Every year at the end of the year, the rebellion found a great way to break out color war. The best times happen during color war. There's no Ashar uniform, and the singing and everything is intense. Even the rebellion get into it. In the end, it's all fun and games, but because of me, the green team won in 7th grade. Thank you, Ashar, for this great memory.
Some memories I had in Ashar was the rebellion and the teachers and how they connected with us and what they did for us. It all started with Rabbi Isaacs in 2nd and 3rd grade. Then we had Rabbi Bromfeld. We got 2 Bill Stenders with him. Next, we had Rabbi Tversky. He gave us kugel every Rosh Chodesh. In 6th grade, we had Rabbi Benjerham. While on Zoom, he drove to all our houses and gave us chocolate bars. In 7th grade, I had Rabbi Zeitlin. This year, We had Rabbi Chavtusky and many siyums and fun learning activities. All of Ashar Rebbeim connected with us and made us feel special.
After all these years, the most anticipated event in my Ashar career had come. I was able to play in the Ashar Teachers versus 8th grade basketball game on Yom HaAtzmaut. Every year since 4th grade, I remember watching the game and wishing that I was able to play, and now I could. Even with the basketball coaches helping the teachers, 8th grade was still able to win with a very close score of 46-42. This life of Ashar has been full of programs, learning, and fun, and I hope Ashar stays like that for future generations.